Minucci, uma das constatações mais dramáticas do seu livro é a de que pesquisas em diferentes países, em diferentes estágios de desenvolvimento, mostram que os pais têm a sensação e têm a constatação de que os seus filhos terão uma vida menos abastada e de menos progresso que a deles próprios. Isso é inédito aí na evolução da humanidade. De que forma isso pode ser combatido e quantas gerações levaria para que isso fosse revertido?
It is very striking, as you say, that if you look at polling in different countries, in the advanced economies, most parents think their children will be less well off than they are. That has never happened before. The news is slightly better in the emerging markets and developing world, countries like Brazil or China or India, where most parents think their children will be better off than they were because there's still significant rates of economic growth happening and expected. But in the advanced economies, it is very striking. And I think there are three factors driving this phenomenon. First is that the kinds of jobs and the terms on which jobs are had for younger people are different than their parents. So jobs in the formal sector are less predictable. They may not have as many benefits. They certainly won't have pensions that are that have defined benefits associated with them. So there's a lot more uncertainty about their employment prospects for young people. And of course, many things that they need to buy have grown far more expensive, such as housing. I think the second reason that young people are often feeling their prospects are poor is the huge levels of debt that have been accumulated in many countries. It started after the 2008 financial crisis when debt levels went up, and then it got worse after COVID because many countries had to borrow to try and see themselves through the COVID crisis. So young people are looking at these huge debts that they will have to pay for through higher taxation and are feeling very worried. And then, of course, the third reason that I think young people are very concerned about their futures is climate change. It's clear that if you look across the world, young people are at the forefront of demanding improvements on the climate. And many of them genuinely fear for their futures and the sustainability of the planet as a result of that. So what can we do to fix that, those three reasons? Well, first, we need to act on the climate. We need to introduce carbon taxes. We need to invest in renewable technologies. We need to invest more in conservation. And we need to do that for the sake of the younger generation, to make up for the environmental damage that our generation caused and previous generations caused. Second, we need to work through this debt and try and not leave such a huge legacy of debt for the next generation. And then finally, I think we need to invest hugely in the education and employment opportunities for younger people. This young generation is going to have to pay the pensions and the healthcare costs of the older generation. And unless we invest in them, and in the book, I suggest providing every young person a lifetime endowment for their education that they would get when they were 18 and able to use to invest in their skills throughout their lives to enable them to have longer careers, which will be necessary as we live longer. I think those three things would go some way to reassuring young people that they had good prospects.